Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rediscovering Me TV. It's your girl, Nakia P. Evans. Rediscovering Me is an empowerment show to empower women and encourage women to rediscover themselves, or for some, discover themselves. Sometimes we go through life and never really take the time to actually process and truly figure out who we are. So, those of us who have already been on the journey and starting over, we are rediscovering. And for those of us who are just starting, we're just discovering ourselves. Okay. So, tonight, guys, we are going to speak on the topic of mental health. Okay. The importance of mental health. And this is very serious. This is a topic that should be talked about more. This is a topic that we should educate ourselves more on. And for someone who deals with depression, anxiety, and PTSD, I totally understand, the process of how hard it can be and also how hard it can be to reach out and ask for help. So tonight we're going to educate ourselves on mental health. We're going to discuss some things. And I have a special guest with me tonight, Miss Chisa Roby. She is a radio personality and also she is a therapist at the Chicago Therapeutic Services in Chicago. All right. And we're going to bring Chisa on, allow her to introduce herself more, and we're going to go from there. Chisa, how are you, love?
Hi, I'm great. How are you? Woo,
Doing
woo, woo.
I know, right?
Hi, TV
Good. I'm super excited that you're here, love. I'm excited about what we're going to be discussing tonight. But before we get into that, go ahead and give the audience a little bit more about yourself.
Land. Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, again, my name is Chisa Roby, and I am a mental health therapist at Chicago Therapeutic Services, and I'm a certified life coach, and I deal with the matters of mental health. And my goal is to reach communities, reach TV, wherever I need to reach, for those that need help in mental illness.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell us, Chisa, for you, like, and just because you were a therapist, so you are very educated in this. What is mental illness? What is a mental illness? Break that down for us.
Wow. Mental illness is basically off balance. Sometimes you could be chemically off balance, mentally off balance. Let me just also say that mental health doesn't mean you're crazy. Okay.
Okay.
Um, Mental health is a state of mind, how we handle the brain, how we think. How we think is how we behave, and how we behave is how it comes out in manifestation. um, Also, it helps to deal with emotions,
Mhm.
your behaviors, how you feel, how you think, why you do what you do. And a
Mhm.
lot of times people don't know that it first start up here in the mind. And so we as therapists are helping you to manage how you feel. Not to say that you're wrong or you're right, but just how do you manage that emotion effectively?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Chisa, like, we just coming into 2022. And,
Yes.
we've been talking, a lot of people been talking on the topics of mental health for a while, but I also feel like, the it's something that's not talked enough about. Like it's not talked about enough. We should definitely speak on it more. One of the things that I've learned, and I can say this from a personal experience, when
Mhm.
I was younger, I didn't know anything about mental health, didn't know anything about that, did not know anything pertaining to that. If we saw others that may have been different from us, we may not have understood it. And so those people were kind of, looked upon.
Mhm.
One thing that I can say is now, as an adult who is experiencing depression, PTSD, and anxiety, it opens your mind up to actually understand what's happening. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? Like what's going on.
Right.
So for you, Chisa, like what would you tell people as far as learning how to manage our mental health, and what is mental health? Like how do we take care of our mental health?
Well, that's a good question, Miss Nakia, because dealing with your mental health is basically, what are you feeding your brain? Um, I have, with my clients, we always talk about exercising, mindfulness, um, meditation, exercise. We don't know that a lot of these things can reduce like depression or PTSD. If you do 30 to 40-minute exercise, that will help you not only sleep better, but it will help with to reduce your depression. A lot of people don't know that if you go and do, let's say, for example, do hobbies, write a book, read a book, listen to music. There are different types of therapy that therapists use. For example, we have something called CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy. And that helps you to think on why you do what you do, why you say what you say, and why your behavior comes out of your emotion. Another uh, therapy we would like to talk about is something called narrative therapy, which I love pretty much more. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but that's one of my favorites. Um, Narrative therapy helps man, woman, or group to have a voice for someone that's been silent. And so, as a therapist, I advocate for those who have been silent all their life and may not know how to address, may not know how to deal with their emotions effectively. So, those are some of the things that you can do to deal with your mental illness and mental health.
Okay, awesome. Now I noticed that, when you were introducing yourself, you made a statement and you said, because you have a mental illness, that does not make you crazy. And I like that.
Exactly.
And please explain a little bit more, because I don't think that a lot of people understand fully, that just because you have a certain, illness going on, that doesn't mean that you're crazy. So can you
Exactly.
explain what you meant concerning that?
Yes. What I meant by that is the fact of, in our culture, or people of color, right? This go all the way back from slavery, even to now. That we've been told, if you go to a, what they call it, a shrink, you're crazy. You go to a psychiatrist, you're crazy. You go to a therapist, you're crazy. That's only because, and I have to say this publicly, we have been ignorant. And ignorant is not a bad word, guys. Let me explain what ignorant means. Ignorant means you don't have the knowledge of. It's not saying you're stupid, it's saying you're ignorant. You don't know. And because we were ignorant for so long about mental health and not understanding it's just as important as going to your dentist, going to your primary doctor, going to your nutritionist, or your person you work out with, your trainer, just as important. Mental health is part of life. You are supposed to go get your head checked. Okay?
Mhm,
Get your mind checked, get your emotions checked. We're supposed to do that
mhm,
just as much as we go to the doctor. And guess what? People have illnesses, right? Mental illnesses. Don't you get a cold? A cold, you get a cold, right? It
mhm,
ain't gonna last forever, is it? You take a little medicine, or you drink your water and do the necessary things you need to do, and bam, you back together.
yeah,
Same thing happens with mental health. Just because you have a mental illness does not mean it needs to stay there. If you do the proper exercises and do the homework, when your therapist give you homework, please do it, because there's a reason why you have to do it. I
mhm,
promise you, a lot of people will get off medication. A lot of people will, won't be doing the same behaviors.
right.
So that's my intake.
Okay, and that's good. And that's good because I think that a lot of people think that, hey, because I have this, then this means that I'm going to be this way forever. And one of the things that I had to accept, even, last night or yesterday when I did my therapy session, is that, I had to go through the process of understanding that this is temporary.
Right.
This is temporary. That does not mean that I'm going to have these same feelings and
Right.
these same thoughts forever. It's temporary. And those actions, those thoughts and that behavior that I'm experiencing is because of trauma or pain or something that we have went through.
Yes.
Doing the work in therapy, I'm telling you, it's tough sometimes.
Yes.
I say, hey, my therapist pulled me. She be pulling me sometimes. But I understand the importance of it. I understand the importance of it. And I understand that if I do the work and be strong enough and say, you know what, this is what I need. And
Mhm.
understanding that asking for help does not mean that you're accepting defeat.
Exactly.
Asking for help does not mean that you are accepting defeat. You're literally just saying, you know what? I need help right now. And that's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay that I need help right now. So, Chisa, what would you say? What inspired you to actually get into the field of mental health?
Wow. She asked me that question. Oh, wow. Um, well, to tell you the truth, Miss Nakia, it started way back. I was a victim of sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, and spiritual abuse. And so, coming from that life, it was very hard to be able to deal with my emotions effectively. How, if I was the person that was always mad, just mad at everybody. Look, you did me wrong. I'm mad at you. And so that anger grew into rage.
Mhm.
And so I took what one man did to me and I allowed it to just turn my whole life around. But I learned that in forgiveness, which is a lot of times that people don't implement in mental health, that
Mhm.
is a powerful tool, ladies
Yes,
and gentlemen. If
yes,
it's
yes,
not forgiving, you're forgiving them, yes, because you take the power back. You
yes.
don't let them take the power from you
Right.
because that's where unforgiveness come in. Well, they did me wrong, and I'm not negating that it was wrong what people did to people like you and me. I'm talking
Mhm.
to the public, you and
Right.
me, right? But what I'm saying is that we do not have to allow people to take the power anymore. We can take it.
That's it.
This is my life. You didn't bring me here, and you ain't gonna take me out of here. So
Mhm.
it's our choice to say, hey, let me get my head straight. I'm not depressed. And let me just say this too. When you say that you are, it's one thing to say I'm dealing with it and say that I am depressed. Two
Mhm.
different entities. I am dealing with depression. I am not in depression. I'm dealing with it. It's a
Definitely.
difference. It's a whole difference. So that's why I decided, I'm like, man, if I'm really in this, I should go and really go to school. And I went back to school and I pursued and got my degree. So I'm thankful. It's more
That's
of a commission for me, not a
right.
chore.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. And more people, should be into mental health. I'm not going to say that I'm going to go to school and go to school, back to school for all that. I ain't going to say that. But also just being able to educate myself and to be an advocate for mental health. I think that's great as well. When it comes to education, Chizo, why do you think that a lot of us are scared to actually educate ourselves on things that we do not know or understand?
Well, as far as human nature,
Mhm.
I think that we allow pride a lot of times to do that. Well, I don't need school. And let me tell you something. Before I went to school, I was already researching myself.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I felt like for me, I wanted the impact of how to talk to a person. I'm always bubbly anyway, but I just wanted that. Okay, well, how did that make you feel? Not to always, well, let me just say this too before I go there. To all
Okay.
the therapists, please let's stop doing that too. We have to, because I ain't gonna lie, I did it when I first started. And
Hmm.
psychologically analyzing everybody. And then I started doing it to myself. And then started
Hmm.
diagnosing myself. So I said, oh, wait a minute, hold on, wait. That's not my job. I go see
Right.
a therapist, okay, and get my own self. And you know what? A lot of people don't want to do that. I
Hmm.
see a therapist. If you are a therapist, who gonna take care of the therapist? Go see one. If you want to get something, because it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. I deal with almost 15, 20 people during the week.
Hmm.
And that's just on a small number. And that's a lot with everybody's problems. That's why you got to get with like-minded people and just detox
Hmm.
all of what you just heard and be able to release, regroup, and then come on, let's get back on the horse. But a lot of people don't do that.
And we have to actually, like, we got to stop being so prideful to the point where we think that everything is okay when we
Exactly.
know that it's not okay. There's nothing wrong with being strong, but I think that our thoughts of strongness is built on generation and generation of that type of strongness.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
um we don't have to carry that.
No.
We don't have to continue to carry it.
Mm-mm.
We don't have to continue to choose to say that we're okay when we're really not. And one thing for me that I had to learn is that I'm not okay. And it's okay for me to tell people that I'm not okay.
Right.
And if people that are around me, if they do not understand me saying I am not okay, then that means that they just don't understand. That does not stop me from going to get the help that I need, because I
Right.
know that I'm not okay. You see what I'm saying? And I
Exactly.
think that we have to get to a place where we're putting ourselves first, regardless. As Black women, Black men, our community all together, with everything that we have going on in this world. You pick up your phone, it's something. You get on social media, it's something else. There's so many traumatic events that are happening around us, to the point where we have to take in consideration that I need to take care of me first.
Right.
First. So,
Right.
Chisa, what would you say to someone who's battling that, whether they have family, whether they have other obligations, or just prideful? What would you say to someone as far as trying to encourage them to put themselves first?
I would first of all let them know that they are important. Um, let them know that they are valued. Every I would say example for every client I have will tell you that's the first thing we start with.
Hmm.
You are important, you are valued, and I tell them, I give them homework. Go look in the mirror and say, "I'm beautiful, I'm valuable." And as a therapist, and I'm sure therapists and counselors can relate to what I'm getting ready to say. A lot of things that you give your clients assignments do, 9 out of 10, you doing them first.
Hmm.
Okay. So when I tell them go in the mirror, I've already been in the mirror. If I tell you go read, I'm reading. So we have to make sure that what we're saying to these clients, understand that they're people.
Hmm.
They're not a robot. You just say do it. Okay. No, you talk to them. You can if you can relate to them, great. Because sometimes people's stories are relatable,
Hmm.
some are not. However, help them to understand that it's okay if you are not okay. It's okay. You ain't got to put that mask on. You know how many years I had to put a mask on? They say, oh, I'm great. Praise the Lord. I'm great. No, and I'm really not. Absolutely not. And I remember going to therapy for the first time, and I remember the therapist had an exercise called the empty chair. And I'm
Hmm.
sure your therapist is going to do it with you. The empty chair indicates that whoever you was mad with or whoever you had on your heart, that's the person you talking to if they were sitting there.
Okay.
Oh my God. When I got through saying what I need to say in that chair, I was released. I felt the weight was off. I was like, oh my God. And now to even experience it with my own clients, it's amazing. It's amazing. So just make people feel valued. Make them feel like they can talk to you. And as a therapist, you should be an effective listener. You are supposed to. You ain't always supposed to talk. Let them.
Absolutely, and that's good. And I like that, that empty chair type
Yeah.
thing. I haven't gotten there yet, but it sounds very interesting. And I think that it's good because it allows you to get what you've been carrying off your chest, you know?
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
that's basically what therapy is. It's like, you know what? You don't have to hold on to whatever it is anymore. You don't have to sweep it under the rug. You don't have to shoo it no more. You don't have to fight your mind and your heart with it. You can just release and you can talk with someone who can understand where you're
Yeah.
at, and you're just releasing and you're
Exactly.
healing in the process.
In the process.
I think for me, when it comes to therapy, yes, there are times where therapy is tough. My therapist tells me, she says, you know what? She says, I'll never leave you the same way you came in. Right. So yesterday, when I went in for therapy, I was a mess. I was already boo-hooing like the first 5 minutes in, like, you know what I'm saying? But by the time my call ended, by the time we ended, my whole perspective was different than how I came in because she was
Mhm.
able to show me the things that I was worried about, the things that I was carrying. Yeah, it may have been bad, but they show you the different sides of the situation and
Right.
still let you know that there's hope on the other end, even though it doesn't feel like it, but
Right.
there's hope on the other end. So, Shiza, because I can get the talking and talking and talking, child. But anyway, what would you say to someone that is interested in actually learning how to educate themselves in mental health? Like, what would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I would tell any person, not just a client, I would say even therapists, counselors, please, start researching. There's a book called a DSM-5. You can Google that and order that online. That has every illness, talking about everything in mental health. You can name is they always say it's the mental health Bible, but it has everything in it, what it consists of. Um, and I remember there was a group, and I gotta find it. It was a group and it's still around, where they literally have to vote on what is considered a mental illness. Isn't that something? So you have all these therapists, counselors, um, people of the mental health profession come together and they vote on it. At one point in the 90s, PTSD was not considered a mental illness even to get Social Security. Now, PTSD, you can use it to apply for Social Security, or for disability, if you will. And so I would say go and research, go to the library. I would highly recommend going to the internet. Google Scholar. Google Scholar is the best when you're looking for things of the mental illnesses and mental health, and things of that nature. Check out medical books, PDF books. Um, oh my God, it's so many things. You can also go and ask doctors. Go ask certain professionals questions. They will sit down and have a consultation with you and ask questions. So those are some of the things that you can do. And then get with like-minded people that understands the concept of mental health.
Absolutely. I think that's very important. One thing that I also had to learn during my process is that I needed people who understood my process. Anybody outside of that, I can't just you just disturbing my peace. you know, and that's okay. It's okay to, make sure that you are good. You know what I'm saying? Researching. I'm just going to say this. When I first started therapy, it did not feel good for people to tell me what I had. And that was very prideful. That was all in my feelings. I was just
Right.
puffed up, chest up, all. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. We ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna do that to me. I'm good. But
Right.
then I learned that I really wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? That I
Right.
was really dealing with some things. And even during that process, I was still prideful a little bit. I was still trying to puff out my chest and throw my head back like I had it all together. And I understood that I was doing more damage to myself than
Right.
actually helping
Right.
myself. And so doing some research, looking out and just reaching out to someone to start that process, it was a little scary because it's different.
It is. It's
But
very different.
but when I tell you that it's beautiful, it is beautiful.
It's
It, it
beautiful.
is it is beautiful because anytime that we're growing, there's things that we got to let go of. There's things that we have to drop off. There's things that we just gotta. It can't go with us to the next level.
Exactly.
When it comes to when you're trying to grow and rediscover yourself or even discover yourself, we have to face some of those things that we
Yes.
didn't face before.
Yes.
You know what
Yes.
I'm saying?
Yes.
And that process may not be easy, but it's worth it in the long run because when you get to a point where you be like, baby, I done let that thing go. That thing has no more power over me. It is done and void. It's beautiful.
Yes. And what I may interject for a moment, also what I want to say to the public is that a couple things. I didn't want to say it, but now I need to say it. Um, I think we need to understand who to connect with.
Mhm.
Just because they say mental health don't mean that they are credentialed, qualified.
It's good.
Ask questions, please, and say, "Hey, where did you go to school at? Hey, do you have a degree?" If you ask me right now, I could tell you. I have my
Mhm.
bachelor's in psychology and counseling. I have my master's in psychology, and I'm getting ready to get another master's in April in marriage and family therapy. So I'm credentialed, okay?
Right.
And
Mhm.
a lot of times we say things to the wrong people that are not qualified. Let me just say this. So many people that have came through my door that has told me that I've given my all, and they told all, I mean everything.
Mhm.
And it's not just in the secular world, it's even in the church world. People have came to me and said, "Oh my God, this pastor said so." And let me just say, it's not disrespecting anybody's profession, but I think a lot of people disrespect our profession. And,
Yes.
and understand that I'm not going to go in your church and say that I'm a pastor. So stop coming in my arena and saying you're a therapist. We
Mhm.
have to stop doing that. There is
Mhm.
an order to life, an order to life. And our the things that we are being taught, the things that about theories and psychologists and those that created these different therapies, you don't know that because you went in school for it. Now if
Mhm.
I'm just saying, if you're a pastor and you got the credentials, then I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about those that are saying things prematurely, and we're messing up people's lives. When
Yes.
people go through my door, their lives are in my hand. That's how
Mhm.
I take it with mental health. I'm very serious about that. And I feel like I'm not going to go and do surgery on somebody's heart. And I'm not a heart surgeon. That's
Right.
not my credential.
Right.
So I think we just have to be careful, especially when we're dealing with clients.
And I think I'm so glad that you said that. I didn't want to go that route either, girl, but it is what it is. And I'm gonna say this, yes, I understand we have our faith. I understand we respect our leaders. I get that. I'm not knocking anybody for any of that. But baby, if they're not qualified in that area,
Please.
then you know what I'm saying? If you want spiritual guidance, okay, that's cool. But when it comes to mental health, I think that we should literally be out here seeing the people that are credentialed. You know what I'm saying? The people that are they're in position for this. That's what
Yes.
they're here for. And I understand. I can just say from my experience as a patient, okay, as a patient, some of the things that I have shared with my therapist, she be sitting there looking at me like, what? Like, where did you get that from? Who told you that? And I'd be like, who child? Like, we just gonna keep it moving. If it ain't what it is, we just gonna keep it moving. But I think that it is important that, we speak to the people that are credentialed in position for that.
Yes.
Everybody can't carry you all 360, baby. Everybody can't do that.
Mm-mm.
We have different people for different things. The mind, one thing that I find so interesting, Chisa, is, doing some research and understanding just how powerful the mind is. That if a
Yes.
woman thinks that she's pregnant so bad that she'll actually go through the process, tummy big, you know what I'm saying? All
Right.
of that, the whole process, without even being pregnant, just from thinking it, just from believing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it shows
Yes.
you just how powerful our mind is. And if it's that powerful, then we definitely got to make sure that we're taking care of it, that
Yes.
we're tending
Yes.
to it when it needs to be
Yes.
tended to. When we feel
Yes.
like we can't take it, or we feel like, things are too much, it's okay to say, you know what, I need a break. I can't do y'all today. I just can't do y'all. And, I'm good at it. I'm like, deuces, like, you won't see me for a couple of days, okay?
Right. Right.
But
Right.
I'm
It,
learning that it's okay.
it's
That
okay.
it's okay. I don't have to put that much pressure on myself to please other people because I'm my first priority. If I can't take care of me, then I can't take care of nobody else.
Exactly. And that's what we have to understand, that we have to take care of everything, the holistic part of man. When you
Hmm.
thinking about your brain, did y'all know? Did y'all know that? Here go a fun fact. Did you know if you eat fish, that's good for the mind? You eat some salmon, tear it up, y'all. It's good for the mind. And I remember when I was a student at Bradley,
Hmm.
and I was going for mental health, and I remember they was looking for a volunteer. So I'm so up, and I'm like me, and I didn't even know what the sign was gonna be, and so they
Hmm.
had this cap, and I was wearing a wig that day, y'all, and they asked me, "Could you please remove your wig?" And first of all, it was a whole lot of. It wasn't all my skin color in there, and I'm like, everybody in front of everybody. So I gone and took the thing out, and they put this cap on, which is called an EEG,
Hmm.
and it actually helps, and it shows what's going on with your brain waves. And I thought it was so fascinating how through my brain waves they could tell I had anxiety.
Hmm.
It could tell real quick I was dealing with PTSD, everything, and they're just asking questions. And you either like you're jumping up, and that's why you have to be relaxed when you go to a neurologist. That's the first thing they tell you: sit on the couch, relax. Then
Hmm.
they say, well, whatever you wrote on the questionnaire, they'll say, well, what happened in '95? And then they'll see you start jumping up, and then they go boop, uh, depression, and literally it was fascinating. But what too, Nakia, a lot of the medical profession don't even work with each other. Like
Hmm.
counselors and therapists, they don't coincide with each other.
Wow.
Therapists and neurologists, we don't even work together. We have the same, and they dealing with these things. We all on the hush hush. This is about helping the community, helping the
Right.
people. It ain't about
Right.
us,
Right.
So it's amazing.
I think that that's amazing too. With the technology that we have today, the studies that are being done, the absolute sure facts, you know what I'm saying, that are proven
Yes,
when it comes to mental illness and mental health. there's a part of me that do not understand why we do not take this as seriously as we should, because
It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing.
it's
I think they don't think because they actually consider it, Nakia, as a small science. It's not like a big science like when they're talking about the stars and the moon and all of that. They don't think that that's, I would say, as valuable, but
mm,
yet it is.
it
People
is.
don't know that if you're depressed, people don't understand that dance therapy can help your movement and your body and be released with all the tension and stress. People don't know that music therapy, when you're singing, doesn't matter if you can sing or not, and you're singing or you're playing an instrument, it helps you release the tension and the depression, and it release all of that off of you. People don't
Mhm.
understand when you exercise, it help you sleep better. It help you to think better. All those things. There's so many therapies out there that we have not even touched the surface yet.
I wish that we would do better when it comes to mental health. I wish we took this more seriously.
Right.
I saw a post the other day, and it basically talked about how when you've been in a situation when you've actually dealt with depression or anxiety or PTSD or something of the case, that you notice things in people that others may not notice, because
Right.
those call outs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The look in people's eyes, the darts off where you just want to be like, whatever, the little shrugs off, like, that because you've been through that. And one
Right.
thing that oh gosh, one thing that I will say is that if we've truly been through the process, and I mean truly been through the process, then
Mhm.
understanding someone else's process shouldn't be an issue for us, because we
Right.
understand what it looks like. We understand what it
Right.
feels like. And at the end of the day, we know that, hey, baby, like, if I'm pushing and I'm making it through, then I know that you can too. And it shouldn't be hard for us to just extend a hand and help someone if we truly been through what we say that we've been through, but
Yes.
that's just me. That's just me and my thoughts. That's
Well, that's a good thought.
just me.
We have to also understand that mental health, we have to understand that this is just as important. I saw in the news last week 3 different people commit suicide. So with all this professionalism, and forgive me for being a little loud, but I'm passionate. With all this that you've seen, you tell me you couldn't reach them. Somebody couldn't say nothing to them, or because we were ignorant, which means that a lot of us don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
Research. It don't matter if it's even not your profession. Learn anyway, because you know that mental health is a part of life, and you know that if somebody's off, or they're chemically imbalanced, or
Mhm.
they staring at you funny, you know something ain't right. You know Mama Joe ain't right if she's staring and looking crazy, or she's talking to herself. Hello, get them some help. And if you need it, don't sit there and not get the help where help is available for you.
Absolutely.
It's available.
Absolutely. It is. I was completely shocked just learning, just sitting and doing research, that nearly 1 in 5 adults live with mental illness. Nearly one in
Yeah.
every 5 live with a mental illness.
Yes.
And like you said, Chisa, we are ignorant. We don't know. And half of the time we just choose not to know. We shrug it off like
True.
it's gonna be okay. But if
Right.
we look at the beginning of this year, if we look at last year and some of the years before, we'll see that this is not okay. This is not
No.
something that we can just shrug off. This is not something that we can just ignore. This is something that seriously needs to be educated. We need to be educated. And we have to
Yes.
stop waiting for people to educate us on it, when we can literally, like, pick up the computer and pick up the phone and educate ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Do
Exactly.
some, you can start interacting with people and learning more, yes. But when it comes to our community, when it comes to our children, especially our babies, that's where my heart goes.
Oh
With
my God.
everything that our kids are dealing with in school, we've had COVID, we have shootings, we have
Yes.
babies
That's being
committing
touched.
suicide.
Yeah.
This is serious.
Yeah.
These are things that are
It's crazy.
serious
Yeah.
because our babies are killing themselves.
Yeah.
This
They are.
this
Yeah.
is
They
serious.
are.
Yeah.
And my son recently was being bullied
Mhm.
a while back in grammar school, and it's the one thing is bad is where you're not getting help, and the second thing is racism come in too,
Right.
because of the color of his skin, and I'm a therapist, but I'm a mom too, so that
Okay.
means that I remember we were sitting in the office and we are talking to this other mental health professional, and they automatically put a label on my son. I said, wait. I said, did you even do an assessment?
Mhm.
Did you talk to him? How do you know? Well, Miss Roby, you don't understand. No, sweetheart, I am a therapist too.
Mhm.
And I hate to sometimes have to pull that, but sometimes people of color they think that we stupid and that
Right.
we don't know. No, I am an educated Black American woman
Mhm.
that have went to school just like you went to school, and my son is not dealing with this. He may be struggling, but he it, and we have to stop labeling people and saying that, oh, you know what, he's depressed. No, he's dealing with depression. There's a
That's it.
difference.
That's it.
There's
And
a
and
difference.
and one thing I learned to change my words as well because I used to say, I suffer with depression. I was like, no, baby, I deal with it. I'm not gonna put it on it and make it seem bigger than what it is. I'm not gonna
Right.
allow it to be more powerful than what it is. I'm dealing with it. That means I'm just going through a process. It is what it is right now. I can accept that I'm dealing with it. But I know if I do the work, I'm not always going to be this way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Right.
always going to be dealing with this. And so changing our words is a great thing. We don't have to say I am depressed. I'm dealing with
I'm
depression.
dealing
I'm
with
dealing with
it.
it. That's
With
it.
it.
I'm dealing with
I
it. We're
mean,
not
what's the
gonna let
question?
it.
What's the question to that? Like,
Yeah.
we need to ask ourselves, what you can easily talk about the bad stuff. I deal with this. I deal with, and I'm not knocking that it didn't happen to you. But where
Right.
do we go from here? Because therapists should teach this, that
Hmm.
there are different types of therapy. Like when I talked about narrative therapy, that has nothing to do with what you deal with at all. It's how you tell your story to have a voice
Right.
and be able to express when you was not be able to. So we have to understand there are different types of therapy that people are not even aware of
Right.
that won't
And
do.
that's good. That's good. That's good because maybe we think that it's just one way. Maybe we think that we're just gonna be sitting on the couch, just pouring our heart out. And I don't know. I don't know. I can say that I had my prejudgments before. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Before I started, um, but starting was the greatest thing for me. And I think that this is something that everybody should get it. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how deeply you're in your faith. I don't care how strong you think you are. I don't care. I think that therapy is something that we all need. Every single person on
Absolutely.
this earth needs it. There's just too much going on.
Yes.
There's so much going on.
So much.
We have so much going on. We can't continue to try to hold that. Therapy is good. I think everybody should do it, but that's just me. That's just me.
I agree totally, and I'm not saying that I'm a therapist, but I really I really do believe, and as long as I got breath in my body, I'm going to continue to advocate for those that need help, because somebody helped me and
Right.
continuously helping me even to
Mhm.
this point. So I'm going to do that.
That's good. Well, Chisa, I want to say thank you for the conversation, love, and for the education that you're giving us. because this, and I keep saying it, and I'm going to continue to say it, this needs to be talked about so much more. So much more. So much more.
Yes.
I'm not the type of person that I can sit here and be like encouraging people 365, because I have my own days. I'm dealing with depression, anxiety, and PTSD in the process now. Like, I'm in my own
Right.
process. But one thing that I did say that I was going to do was let people know that, hey, baby, it's okay to deal. But that doesn't mean that
Right.
it's gonna, take us out. Like, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna fight it. We're gonna deal with it, and we're gonna get through it. We're gonna have some bad days, and we're gonna have some beautiful days, and we're gonna celebrate ourselves
Yes.
in the
Yes.
process. Um,
Yes.
One thing that I also like to tell people is that, and a lot of people get upset, and I mean, it is what it is. I'm just gonna say it. If you know me by now, it is what it is. This is my platform, okay? um, but one thing that I say is, we have to stop trying to be superhuman. You know,
Right.
there's
Right.
nothing wrong with, being like Christ, being like God, and things like that. But one thing that I had to realize is that Jesus came here with the blueprint. He knew who was going to betray him. He knew who he was going up against. We don't have a blueprint. We don't know everything
Right.
that's going to come against us. We don't know
Mm-mm.
who's going to do hurtful things to us. There is no blueprint, a straight ABC, A to Z blueprint on how to make it in this world. And so
Right.
there's nothing wrong with getting help. There's nothing wrong with saying, I need help. There's nothing wrong with any of that. Jesus had the blueprint. We ain't got it. I'm sorry. I mean, we don't have it. And that's the way
Right.
I look at it. There's nothing wrong with me saying I want to be like Christ and things like that. But I'm not that. I didn't come here with the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? And so I have to
Mm.
we got to learn how to give ourselves grace and be kind to
Yes.
ourselves in the hard times, and
And each
say,
other.
okay, that's true. And each other. And each other.
Yeah.
That's good. Because we
Wow.
never know what
Yeah, we
anybody is going.
don't. We don't know. We just don't know. And you know, uh Christ, if we really just want to be knowledgeable about it, he brought therapists and counselors and doctors to help us deal with our mind, body, and soul. So everything that we got right now was already like wrapped up for us. All we had to do was just open it and
That's
get
it.
what you need. And guess what? He gives us common sense. Faith without works is what? Dead.
Yeah.
You got to put the work in. If you don't, you
Mhm.
come in my office and you not doing no homework, you sitting there, you looking at me, and you, then we're not progressing. You got to put the work in. I wouldn't
That's
put
it.
nothing on you that I wouldn't do myself, and that's a
Mhm.
true leader. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
To tell the truth and not
Mhm.
all this spooky stuff. I don't understand why these. Well, that's a whole other story. But I'm not spooky, so I'm crazy. I tell people in the door. I tell all my clients before y'all, I'm letting y'all know I'm crazy. So you can throw that out the window that you crazy because I'm crazy. I'm for
Mhm.
real crazy. They be like, what but I love it, and they love it too. And to be themselves. I don't want you to come with that mask on. Take it off. You can put it back on if you want to, but don't bring it on in here because that
That's
it ain't for
good.
that. Take it on.
And
Take it
and
on.
that's the beautiful thing about it. That's what I look at it. That's the way I look at it. I think that's the beautiful thing about therapy, because you don't have to wear the mask. You know what I'm saying? You can just be you. You're talking to somebody who don't know you that personally. You know what I'm saying? So there's no bias in there. You know what I'm saying? You can literally just let go and just and let yourself be free. Like, unload the baggage, unload the hurt, unload the pain. And I don't have to worry about this person and their thoughts and their opinions the way that we do with family and friends. I don't
Yeah.
have that pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Going to there, I can
Exactly.
just be me. I can cry. I can whatever I want to do. I can just release,
Right.
and do the
And
work
be
so that I
comfortable.
can be better and be comfortable. That's it.
Right.
We don't have to make it hard. We ain't got to make therapy difficult. It's not that. I mean, it's tough sometimes because you're growing. You're going through the
Right.
process. You're healing. Healing is tough. It can be difficult, but it's beautiful to just release. Just be like, woo, girl, let me tell you, I finished therapy yesterday. I got up and actually went in there and cooked a dinner, child. Like that was progress for me. I was like, you know what, girl? You did that. And I celebrated myself in the process. I was like, you go ahead, girl, with your bad self because you was able to cook today. I don't be down on myself when I don't. It's just like, hey, baby, when you do, celebrate the fact that you do. You know what I'm saying? But
That's
I
it.
mean, that's just me. It's just learning how to accept where you are and not look at it as a defeat. Like you're not
Right.
defeated. You're not
No.
giving power to something. You're saying this is just my process, and it's okay.
Just my process.
That's it. It's just it's temporary. It's a
It is
process.
not. It's not. It don't have to be a fast therapy. If I may say this,
Go
therapy
ahead.
is not a microwavable type process.
Mhm.
You don't want nothing that's too quick anyway. It's just like putting a cake in the oven and you take it out and it ain't fully rised or nothing. You got some hot liquid that's getting ready to go on your skin because you didn't wait for it to go through. Sometimes you got to go through the fire when you are going through therapy. It's going to be tough times. It's going to be tough situations. It's going to be things you got to remember. And then even sometimes some things you suppress through therapy, it will help you to start remembering, not to
Mhm.
hurt you, but
Right.
to help you to move forward. And I tell my clients, you got to reflect what the problem is. Number two, you have to be able to understand what just happened. And
Mhm.
third, you have to be able to accept it and say, you know what? I accept this. This is what happened. Like for me, what happened with me, I was raped. That happened. But it
Mhm.
does not mean that that's going to keep carrying with me because the buck stops here. The
Right.
curse stops here. It won't go to my children. That's it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? What is going to go to my children is awareness. Please speak to your children. Get them with a therapist. Educate. If they're
Mhm.
dealing with something, don't just sit there because as parents, we don't know it all. And
Mhm.
sometimes being with a different face, not mama, not grandma. I mean, it's all cool. Thank God for all of them. But I'm talking about get with somebody they don't know. When you look for a therapist, you don't want somebody that know you.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Don't because you get the biases, you get the gossip, you get all of that. And I hate to even say that because you would think that would be the right thing to do to talk to your cousin or mama or whatever. But everybody can't again, if they're credentialed, they know what they're doing.
That's it. That's it. That's good. Make sure. I think that when it comes to our youth, guys, I'm very passionate about that. Now, my daughter, she just turned 18. Ooh, Jesus, be the whole fence. I got graduation and stuff coming up. But I think that it's important that therapy is used with our babies. It wasn't just me saying, okay, I'm gonna just go to therapy. It's like, no, baby, like, do you think that you need some assistance as well? And all she had to do was say yes. Boom, there it is. This is what we're going to do. There's not going to be a stigma of we're going to be strong black women and we're going to carry it. No, baby. My definition of strong is that I'm strong enough to say that I need help when I'm not okay. To me, that's strength. To me, that's strength because it's not easy to say I'm not okay. It's not easy to tell people I'm not okay. I think that that's the most powerful thing that we could do is just be honest and say I'm not okay. I think that I need help. And that within itself is okay. That is okay.
Yes.
So, Chisa, I just want you to give the audience some encouraging words before you go on the concern of mental health. I'm going to let you have the floor and do that. And then when we bring you back on, I'm going to let you share about what you have going on, you know, your show, everything that you're doing, and then we're going to end it up. So, go ahead. You got the
Well, what I would say to all of you is that please understand that mental health is a part of life. Going to a dentist, it's a part of life. Going to the doctor for your physical health, it's a part of life. So let's not separate mental health. There are people that are dying, committing suicide because we're not watching the signs or we're ignorant and we don't know and we're not aware of what's in front of us. Please, sometimes go to a support group. You don't have to have nothing wrong with you. Just go and be educated. There are plenty of domestic violence, alcohol and addictions. They even have sex addictions. Yes, that's a mental illness. See, there are things that we don't know, but I admonish you as well as encourage you. Please make mental health important to you. Just as you do with your teeth, your body, and everything else, make it important because if up here is not right, and if your emotions are not right, then everything else is not going to be right. Because if you don't deal with your emotions, you can walk in depression, anxiety. You won't take care of your body. That's called self care, proper hygiene. All of that will lack. So everything in your body can be affected. So please choose life and choose to take care of your mental health.
I like that. I like that. Choose life. That's right. And take care of your mental health. It all starts here. Everything else is here. This controls
Everything.
everything. The mind, like we got to make sure that we take care of our minds. And there's absolutely nothing wrong when you feel like, you know, you may need some assistance with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Maybe I'll be excited. My little Wednesdays be coming. I'll be like, it's therapy day. It is what it is. Like, we're going to do this, you know? I've even started
Yes, yes,
a mental health binder just by going and doing research, finding worksheets online. You know what I'm saying? Different worksheets that show
yes,
you how to cope, how to manage. You know, there are so many things that you can do. You know, you can look up how to care for yourself more, how to take care of your mind. You know, everybody isn't into meditation, and that's cool. It is what it is. You do what you do. But for me, I like meditation. I like to do yoga. I like to be able to stretch and have music around me and feel at peace. And that's okay.
yes.
That's okay.
And
We
that's
don't have to have our world as a roller coaster. It can be peaceful. You just got to do the work.
yes.
Just got to do the
Go
work.
to work.
So, Jesus, tell us what you got going on, girl. What you got?
Which is everything. It seemed like I wish it was three of me. Well, first and foremost, I have a radio show called The Healing Clinic, and that says it in itself. For those that need healing and understand the concepts of mental health. So we have different people coming on. And one of my people this Saturday, y'all got to get on at 2 p.m. Central. My girl Nakia, she gonna be on my show, so y'all don't want to miss that. And we on Facebook under the Healing Clinic group, Instagram Healing Group, the Healing Clinic, and then YouTube, the Healing Clinic. You'll get all the information on there. She gonna tell a story, so we gonna rock with it. We're gonna have our music. We're gonna bump,
I
and then
love
we're
it.
gonna talk about the importance of domestic violence. How many know that people are being abused in silence. Interesting, isn't it? So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna let Nakia tell her story. So y'all come on there, jump over there on Saturday and get with us, okay? So that's what's going on right now.
Awesome, awesome. So yes, guys, listen. This Saturday, I will be on Chisa's radio show, The Healing Clinic. I will be sharing my story of domestic violence. Whew, y'all, be prepared for it, okay? I will be sharing my story of domestic violence and my journey thereof. Where I'm at right now, okay? But we're going to talk about it because that is also a topic that needs to be discussed more
Yes.
and more. Mental health needs to be discussed. Domestic violence needs to be discussed as well. So we're going to be talking about these topics, guys. And listen, listen, listen. If you need a platform, baby, I got it for you. Okay. If you are looking to start your own radio or TV show, listen, Ruach Life Media has some radio and TV stations available. Okay. I actually have a sale for already done for you radio show, $200 if you're available. And that's a good sale. Okay, because I'm about to up that in a little bit. So we do have a station, radio station, international station, because all of our stations broadcast out to 177 countries. Okay. So if you're looking to start your own platform, hit your girl up. I can get you hooked up because we moving and we building and we doing this thing. Okay. All right. So Chisa, thank you, love, for coming on. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to share Chisa's information below. So make sure that you check out what I post below so you can make sure that you connect with her. Join us this Saturday on the Healing Clinic on Chisa Show because I'm going to be a special guest sharing my story of domestic violence. All right. Thank you guys. Please make sure you take care of yourself. Okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay. Just don't stay there. Do the work. That's all you got to do. Ask for help if you need it because your life matters. You understand? Your life matters. My life matters. Your life matters. So let's do this thing, guys. I love y'all. Thank you. Have a great night. Chisa, have a good one. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
I'll see
much.
you next week.